two brothers have taken an elongated gap in our conversations, man. Like it has been weeks. I mean, how have you been? First off, just want to catch up.
I've been okay. I've been really busy and not getting enough sleep and just working on the road, traveling, doing, the lives, the IRLs, and the man on the streets and talking to people like, in Congress. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, I mean well, first just got to comment on like your congressional coverage was great. Like it was like, it was kind of given like Twitch streamer, like it was given like a really modern, you're just walking around with the mic and catching like I haven't seen someone really do that. So I just got to give you props for like how innovative it was. It was really an interesting way to go about it.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And if you like what I do and you like what Ahmed does, make sure you hit the thumbs up, the like, the hearts, because it affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation and our channel and everything we need you to follow us on. So I thank you. I appreciate that. I wanted to do something different. I wanted people to see their government in action, their government and work at work. And I think that they're doing it obviously right now, Ahmed, not at work,
No,
shut down.
shut down, and they're exploiting the shutdown. Like just to take it off the top of what Trump did today. Just yesterday, I wrote an article talking about how Trump and Russell Vought were planning to exploit the shutdown to accelerate Project 2025. And then today, Homeboy posted the premise of my article on Truth Social, pretty much, and he was like, yo, I'm about to meet with Russell Vought of Project 2025 fame. And we're gonna go cut some federal workers. So he basically, I wrote this article thinking I'm exposing what their plan is, and then Homeboy posted on Truth Social this morning.
Well, they say the quiet part out loud, which they don't really care anymore. There is no quiet part.
No, there
There,
is none.
there's no quiet part. They just say it. Like Donald Trump said the other day. He said, it was the day before yesterday. Yeah, basically, we can do whatever we want with the government. We can start slashing healthcare. We can start slashing jobs. We can do whatever. And then he caught himself and he goes, "Well, we don't want to do that." But that's the point. So I don't think they're concerned about this the shutdown, or as I call it, shakedown. But I think when their constituents, when MAGA realizes that their health benefits are being cut, or they're going to have to pay more
Mhm.
in premiums, I think that maybe with the MAGA cult that'll get to them. I don't know, or maybe they'll say it's some grand scheme that Donald Trump knows better than them, and so they're willing to pay the money. It's always an excuse, but a lot of dollars are going to be coming out of their pockets for healthcare premiums.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why Democrats focus on the healthcare premiums was smart because, we have the subsidies expiring in a few months and that's going to hit. People are going to start getting notices that their premiums are about to skyrocket. And then now you have Trump saying explicitly he's just going to go and take an axe to any programs he doesn't like. And then on that note, he said something that didn't get that much attention a couple days ago. He said, "Oh, when we shut it down, we're going to have to make cuts. We're going to have to make layoffs, and they're going to be Democrats." He said.
Mm.
So he
Yeah.
basically gave the game away that he wants to fire people who aren't loyal to him in the federal government, which is what Project 2025 is all about.
Yeah, the tweet that you mentioned, he said, "I have a meeting today with Russ Vought." Russ Vought. Project, that's him. I'm reading from him. He of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people. So maybe they are not stupid people. So maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. President DJT. I got to say, he's very good at shaping the narrative. And I'm sure some Democrats are going to be worried about this or nervous. I'd be like, okay, do it. I think it's time for some people to look, they FAFO'd. This is what you voted for. Let them have it. Let them have it, because the main people who are going to suffer from this will be Donald Trump base, poor people, right?
Mhm.
And so let them go for it. I would say
Yeah.
let them go for it.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing with these cuts, Trump's trying to place the blame on Democrats, but mostly if you're blaming someone for something, you don't want to be so happy about it happening. Like you're trying to frame it as being bad, but you're like, oh, thank God for this wonderful opportunity where we get to go gut government and gut all these programs you care about. That's just such a gift to Democrats because now they can say, Look, homeboy wanted this shutdown. That's the easiest layup. He wanted this shutdown, and all of the things that are coming from it that are going to impact you, Trump's voters, are because of him. He's giddy about this. He could come to the negotiating table if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to. He wants this shutdown. So I really think Donald is he thinks he's really owning the Dems right now, but you can't be acting happy in the middle of a shutdown. Act like this is what you wanted, you know?
Yeah, but they're doing it. The weird thing is that, look, I think you're right. I think the Democrats were smart and um, framing this around healthcare. I think that was really smart. But I think they need to get in front of the narrative a bit more. They need to put
Mhm.
people out there a bit more. I know they're trying now. They need to be on in every different medium. They need to be out here in these streaming streets a lot more because of course, they should go sit on a cable news desk. I'm not going to tell them not to do that. They should. But if they really want to have maximum impact and maximum penetration, then that they need to get everywhere, radio, whatever, local news, everything they need to do. And I heard Jasmine Crockett saying that last night on MSNBC, and I thought she was right on. They've got to get in it. They've got to get ahead of the messaging. I think that their messaging, their marketing, their PR is very 1990s,
Yes.
and they need to take the gloves off.
I totally agree, man. And I got big critiques on that front because, like, although they're focusing on the healthcare, which is smart, you got to also tie it to everything else to
Hmm.
build the urgency. Like, he's threatening troops. He just indicted. I mean, I guess people forget this happened. He just ordered the indictment of a political opponent a few days ago. They can tie this to the broader authoritarianism, corruption, his self enrichment, and that they don't want to fund that. I think that the healthcare focus is smart, but I think they can focus bigger picture. And then on that note, man, I think Jasmine Crockett should do Joe Rogan. Could you imagine the numbers that would do if Jasmine Crockett did Joe Rogan, or if like she went out there and just talked to some podcasts? Like we need these people to be everywhere. Just go.
I actually think that Joe Rogan would invite her on.
I think he cares about podcast downloads, and I think if she went on there, I think he would have her. I think he would have Obama. I think he would have like big Democratic political officials for sure. I think it's always a hesitancy on Democrats' part to want to make sure they're buttoned up. Like some of them don't want to sit for a 3 hour long conversation with a dude who's just smoking a blunt, right? They don't really want to go. They don't want to go in there. But I think people should, like you're saying, they should let their guard down and just have these conversations and infiltrate to regular Americans right now.
What do you think do you think that people are dialed in? You think they're concerned about this or they don't know when you say government shutdown? Do they really understand what's happening? Because it's going to take a while to affect them. Like, someone was asking me, like, we were having dinner with friends last night, and someone asked me, so what does that mean? I said, well, longer lines. If you're, going to the airport and if you're traveling, it's going to be longer lines. And there's the air traffic control issues and they're working, without getting paid, blah, blah, blah. But how does this affect the average everyday American's life?
Mm-hmm.
It won't unless this goes on for quite some time. And which it did. And then back in 2019, I believe, when Donald Trump I think that was the last one. That was the last one. When the Republicans, you know, saying how they frame it about Democrats, shut the government down over the border wall.
Mm-hmm. And it went on for a long time, and then people started to feel it. But I think you're right. It's one of those things where right now, at the moment, I don't know if it's rising to the level where everyone's kind of concerned. They're kind of going about their lives. But as stuff starts to go wrong, that's another thing that even if it's unrelated or it's not directly related, people are going to start to see it as the shutdown's fault. Like today, for example, two planes kind of collided a little bit on a tarmac. I just saw it as I was coming in. I didn't get to see the details, but like stuff like that, people can be like, "Are there enough FAA staffing?" And then, like, I think as this goes on, the blame's going to become more. It's going to be a bigger issue for Trump because the polling already said that Republicans and Democrats, the blame's going to be more lopsided towards Republicans. And if you have Trump celebrating it, saying we love this opportunity to fire all these federal workers, that kind of stuff's going to also impact like the Virginia race that's coming up. Like I think the Virginia race is something that's already going to be impacted by this shutdown, given the federal employee demographic there. So I think this is going to have pretty wide ramifications pretty soon, especially since the House isn't even in session and they're not even working on it. Like
Yeah.
I think it just makes them look like chaotic, and Trump's out here taking victory laps on it.
Well, look, I would be in DC, except for a lot of the people who I wanted to interview, they're not there. And because Congress is no longer in session, they're out in their own districts, probably talking to their constituents, or they're doing media to try to, you know, get some support around their side of this government shutdown. And so a lot of the folks are not there. So I said, and also it's a holiday, it's a Jewish holiday.
Mhm.
Um, Congress is gone. And so I, even if they come to a deal, they can't really vote on it. It's really a weird time that we're in right now.
It's a weird time, and I'm worried about the Senate Democrats unification. Like we have Fetterman, Cortez Masto, and Angus King already voting with Republicans. That's three. That's three down right there, right? I think you get a few more Democrats there, and then suddenly it just kind of crumbles. Yeah, you're right. I think the main thing right now Democrats really have to do is get out there, like not just on these cable news hits. Like they need to make the case forcefully, and they need to not be so scripted. Like I really feel like if it looks like you're reading a script out of your head when you're talking, it's just not gonna connect with people. Like say what you feel, say what you mean. Like
How do you think Schumer and Jeffries are doing?
they're doing okay. I don't know. I think that this message discipline is good. I think on focusing on the healthcare, but just the leading up to it, there wasn't enough of a clear articulation of direct goals. Like I think it should have been weeks long buildup of making a case on this, rather than just like kind of felt like in the last week or so it kind of popped up that they were gonna make healthcare the focus. I think they should have made a comprehensive case that had healthcare included in it, taking on the broader concerns that people are seeing in their day to day lives, like ICE raids and their scooping up their neighbors, the threats to troop deployments. Like bring everything in. I know they looked at the polling and their consultants say focus on healthcare, but like you can talk about everything. You know,
Mhm.
you don't have to just focus on the one thing that your consultants say polls the highest. Speak with your chest and say what you say what your gut feels about this. I know they all care about corruption and the authoritarianism. The polling shows the American people don't like the power grabs either. So I think I like the healthcare focus and the discipline side of it, but I think they narrowed their argument a little bit too much.
Can we talk about the loud silence on the right and the magosphere about this Michigan shooter and also North Carolina?
Hmm.
Like, I'm wondering. Yeah, well, I know why they're not doing it. I want to get your take on why they're not talking about it because because of that, they're not even talking about the Charlie Kirk person anymore, shooter, alleged
Hmm.
shooter. They're not talking about the shooter in what was there was another one, the kid who was Utah. They're not talking about, is it
Yeah.
Utah? They're not talking about the kid who
There was like an elementary school shooting, neo-Nazi, the same day
yeah,
of the Charlie
but
Kirk
but
shooting. Yeah.
but they're not talking about the kid who they said was left wing, right?
Mhm.
Because they don't want anybody talking about shootings because it's one of them this time. It appears to be from the circumstantial evidence.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought it to this because I was going to pivot to this because I caught some of your stream earlier today, and you were going off. You were going off on the political violence, and you're right. Like they don't want to talk about this. I actually was on your old stomping grounds. I was on CNN this past Saturday with Scott Jennings, and I got into a debate with him on this, and they want to just say over and over again, left wing violence is the cause of this. He kept saying, I threw stats at him. I was like, man, the Cato Institute, which is not a far left you know, think tank said that 63% of the murders, the political terrorism murders between 1975 and September 2025 is from the right. 63%. Below that at number two is jihadists at 23%. That's the Cato Institute, right? And I'm telling this to Scott Jennings. He just like, well, the left has a problem. And I'm dude, can you like consume? Like, they just want to stick to their message. And then so they're now just pivoting to something else. Cause you're right. The data and the facts do not back their claim.
I have not seen Scott, but I've heard things lately about what's happening on CNN. I just say I don't like to put myself in those positions to do panels and you're arguing about things that don't. It's never going to be solved. And people, I mean, I think everyone on those panels has a role and they stick to it. They're not interested in listening to other people and nothing gets resolved and it's not very helpful. Which is I should have done that when on Piers Morgan because Pierce is
Yeah,
an old friend and a former colleague. And I said, okay, I'll go on because it's not a panel and we can have a productive discussion. And as it turned out, he just wanted to do clickbait by himself instead of a panel. So, I, you know,
yeah.
guard your peace.
No,
Protect
yeah,
your
no, no,
peace.
yeah, no, I
And
feel
if
you,
you want to
man.
go on to it, if it's good for your profile and you, but I try to steer clear of those
Yeah, I'm
people.
just getting started, man. I gotta take these opportunities. I'm getting started, but like, but it was interesting because like there was on the Comey front, we got into an argument, and I just hit him with the facts of the case, and he didn't really interrupt me as much as I've seen him interrupt other people. He kind of like he couldn't really debunk what I was saying. So it's like I go on there. I agree. Like they're not the most fun to be on, but like if you can like stay measured and not let them rattle you, that's what I try to do on the Scott Jennings on the CNN panel specifically because that show can get rowdy because a lot of the people there for performance are. But like no, you're right, man. Like the Piers Morgan thing I saw, I caught a clip of that recently, and that was BS. And like that's the problem with a lot of media right now is that like a lot of people are just it's performance art. It's for clicks. There's no we're losing our shared humanity. Like you said, it was an old colleague. You expect to go on with people and they're not gonna like when the camera rolls suddenly shift into a different persona just to get some clicks,
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. So, what do you think happens next with this? Two questions here. What do you think happens next? And when are we going to get back to Epstein? I mean, they are
Oh,
everything there trying not. What is in those files? Because they are deflecting, deflecting. What are we going to do? Do not let them talk about Epstein. What the hell?
there is something cooking in those files, and they're not even seating the new representative from Arizona who won, right? Like because she would be the 218th vote. Like there is something in there, and I think a lot of this erratic behavior, like we've been talking about for months, man, is because he's trying to cover up what's in there. Like that birthday card, once it got released, it was even more disgusting than what we could have imagined. And then it's just and now we found out Elon Musk is named in there. Like you see that report of like other names that are listed in the Epstein files.
Oh yeah, I
It's
saw
just
Musk and Bannon. And then there's one more person who I can't remember. I forget who it
I
is.
think Peter Thiel. I think I saw Peter Thiel's
Oh yeah,
name.
Peter Thiel.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I mean, like Jesus, like they wrote like there's a reason why they don't want this out there, man. There's a reason they don't want this out there. They're acting erratic. They're doing all these distractions. And I'm just like one thing to the next. Like 1 second we're talking about indicting Comey, and that feels like it's going to be an all-encompassing story, and then the next week something totally different. Just one thing
When
after
do
another.
you when do you think this comes to an end? This government shutdown. Who do you think is going to blink? I hope that the Democrats don't this time, only because people want to feel like someone is standing up for them and standing up for democracy and not just this sort of tyrannical government that we have.
I mean, I think something unforeseen could happen that shifts the narrative here because like I think or not maybe unforeseen maybe it's predictable because Trump's talking about it. I think the stuff he's about to do if he goes too callous with these cuts like if they go Doge 2.0 here and then Russell Vogt just starts firing tens of thousands of people, I think that's going to help shift the narrative in Democrats' favor. And then when you start seeing polls dropping that Democrats are not taking the blame for this and Trump Republicans are looking bad, I think we could see them fold on one of Democrats' concessions. But again, it depends on Democrats needing to be out there because they need to move with urgency because Trump and Russell Vogt are about to do a lot of damage during the shutdown. So they need to be out there like on all fronts. Like they can't take because the House is out of session. They can't take the week off. Like they need to be out there making the case, like you're saying, in innovative ways, talking to streamers, talking to you, talking to independent media, talking to everybody that has a platform.
But there's an easy answer for Democrats. If he says, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and all they have to do is say, yeah, well, that's exactly what they wanted to do. And that shows you that this argument that they're making, that it's not in good faith. And so if they want to get rid of people's health care, if they want to fire people, if they want to take away people's jobs, let them do it. They're in charge of the government. So we would rather that not happen. We're trying to save people's health care and keep those premiums down. We're fighting for the American working class person, not for the rich people. So if they want to do that, let them do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Boom.
And
End of story. And I would just be like, okay, let them do it. Okay, let them do it. Okay, let them do it.
yeah, no, I think you're right. And then during that time, if like, for example, it goes on and on and on, and then it somehow just ends without a resolution, Democrats still took the time to raise the alarm about those Obamacare subsidies. And then the second that ends, everyone will associate it, rightfully so, with Trump. Those Obamacare subsidies are going to be some of the most, like, if they're allowed to expire the way that they're set to, it'll be the most politically toxic thing Republicans have done since they tried to overturn it in
They're killing it.
2017.
I had Anthony Scaramucci on yesterday. He said what they're doing, they're killing it softly. They're killing it in the background, is what they're
Yeah,
doing. Yeah.
yeah,
They're
like
not killing,
because
not up front.
like
They're
people,
repealing it.
this is like everyone who makes below like 100, six figures, they're all going to get, and you don't have employer based insurance, you're going to get cooked with the prices, like thousands extra dollars, potentially monthly for some people. So yeah, I think this is smart the way they're approaching it. I think they stand their ground, especially for this little period right now. We'll see what happens. I think Trump and them are already burning up any goodwill or like any idea that they weren't to blame for this is starting to go away when you have Trump posting, bragging about how great of an opportunity this is. I think you put that that statement in an ad. You go out there, you talk to people, and you say Donald wants this.
Mm-hmm. Sounds smart to me, Ahmed Baba. Thank you, sir. I'm
Good
glad we got
talking
to
to
catch
you.
up. We still didn't talk. We're still not fully caught up.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there's a lot.
we'll talk again next week. We'll catch up more. And yeah, thanks. Good to see you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. It's great. Everyone who's watching, hit that like button, subscribe. We're out here doing independent journalism.
Thank you, Ahmed. I'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Good talking to you.